welcome. Today, I am honored to be here with Emma, who we are going to just jump right in to the world of the dream world, the dream realm. I'm so excited that you reached out to me, Emma. I'm really honored to have you here because this dream realm is something I've just started playing in this year. So, and realizing the healing potential. So thank you so much for being here. I'm honored to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I just want to start by sharing, so everyone that is participating in the modern priestess movement, they've submitted a definition of what it means to be a priestess. And I wanted to read yours just to make sure everyone heard it, because I was really touched when I read your response. So I asked, tell me, Emma, what it means to be a priestess to you. And you answered, to me, being a priestess means making the agreement with oneself to represent the divine feminine through various unique forms of service. A priestess is one who is willing to allow her spiritual seed inside to be watered and flourish and is dedicated to walking a spiritual path. A priestess is well studied, I'm particular skills and art forms and performs discipline. Amen. She shares her creativity with the community and stands as a community leader and facilitator. A priestess is someone who hears the ancient call to lead and to create coherent containers for consciousness to flow. I read that and I was like, yes, like that, I agree. I thought that was really beautiful. So you've answered the call to lead, and your gifts, I'm sure there are many, but what we're going to be talking today is about dreaming. So why don't we go ahead and get started and just tell us what is this dream realm that we're going to be talking about today?
Wow, so that's a big question. What is the dream realm? And that's really the mystery of the dream in itself. And part of what I'm really curious about exploring is just that. And it's kind of like the question, what is a priestess? You know, it's a big question. And I tend to follow my curiosities on the mystery this way. And what I've found so far is that the dream realm is a space. There we have many different bodies beyond our physical body. And the dream realm is a place where we go to. So the ancient Egyptian word for dream actually means a place. And so it also means to awaken. So yeah.
Interesting.
Long story short, the dream realm is a place. It's a place. Yeah.
Beautiful. So when we go to this place, there's so many directions I want to go, but let me pull back and say, when we're in this place, can you just clarify that I do think that there's some people who lucid dream or are able to control where they go in that place, and then there's some of us who are just waking up like, wow, that was a really random experience with random people. So let's start with the random. Can you touch on that a little bit? Like, what is that? Why do we give ourselves those experiences?
Well, a lot of why we're giving ourselves these experiences, dreams they're a natural function that we all have. We're all doing it, whether we remember or not. And part of why we're having this experience is because our soul is giving ourselves the opportunity to have certain experiences, and sometimes this can be possible future experiences that we're having, so we can feel out whether that's somewhere our soul wants to go in waking life or not, something we want to prevent. Sometimes our dream experiences are there for in primitive times for survival, so sometimes dreams once again can be prophetic to kind of show us what to be aware of at that time. But it also has a lot to do with relationships and what are our relationships with certain archetypes in our waking life, like the feminine or the masculine, or certain animal totem symbols or plants. What are we being shown in the dream time that's showing us parts of our own psyche that are being made aware of so they can come back into wholeness. So,
Yes, that's
so
the
a lot
key.
of,
The
so a
coming
lot of,
back to wholeness is a really, really, I'm really happy you mentioned that, because I do think that's the point, right? Is to bring these parts when we have trauma and we get split, right? We get kind of like split from ourselves. And
yeah.
so the dreams, I just want to clarify that part because it's so important, is really helping us bring that part back into wholeness, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of dreams, especially the kind of dreams we're talking about right now, where we're not necessarily aware that we're dreaming in the time. We have subconscious dreams. There's certain emotional landscapes that are showing themselves to us in the dream time. Oftentimes, what's being shown is the parts of our psyche that somewhere along the line, unconsciously, we've decided we're not. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say, even on a level of feminine and masculine, as we're raised as women, we're told, I am not a male. I am not a boy. I am not a boy. So our not self, our unconscious self, begins to create an unconscious masculine self. And that unconscious masculine self oftentimes embodies the personality traits that we relate to as male.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the dream time, for women, when we dream of male figures, oftentimes they can represent our own unconscious masculine personality traits that are wanting to integrate back into wholeness, coming back into consciousness. So we can approach dreams and the symbols in dreams as if every element of that dream is an aspect of our own psyche.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a really fun way to approach them. Like if I dream of a meadow and I see a bear and some flowers growing in the field, I can say, I am the bear, I am the meadow, I am the field, and actually speak directly as those parts of our own being. So that's one way to kind of approach what's coming through in the dream time, is approaching each piece as an aspect of our own psyche. Now, there's also dreams where it might be literal, a literal visitation. Sometimes that is the case, and especially when we get into lucid dreaming techniques and of the sort, you can approach the same dream in so many different perspectives. But approaching it first and foremost is recognizing the dream as a mirror of one's own self, and for inner exploration, and to really get to know ourselves on that soul level through the dream. It's so healing.
Yeah, absolutely. One piece that you said that I'd love for you to expand on just a little bit more is a potential future. I think that that's really interesting, because we always have, in every moment, we're always creating different futures for ourselves. But I do think that part of so being shown a potential, an option, right, is really beautiful. Could you expand on that a little bit more?
Yeah, so the thing about prophecy and especially prophetic dreams is that it's not necessarily set in stone what's going to happen. And part of what prophecy's function is like I was saying earlier, and we found in early times, dreams was a function for survival. It was a way for us to know when it's time to go hunt, or when an animal might be coming, and so part of what prophetic dreaming's function is to look at, could this be a potential experience that I'm going to experience in waking life? And a lot of these teachings I've been learning from Robert Moss and studying with him. And he studies with the Iroquois dreaming tradition. And so a lot of this is coming from traditional Iroquois dreaming traditions. The idea that we can ask ourselves when we've had a dream, is this a possible future? And if it is a possible future that my soul would like to get to, it's desirable for me, what actions can I take in my waking life to get there?
Yeah.
And also, if it's a situation we don't want to experience, we can ask ourselves, what actions can I take now to tame that possible future? And so it's definitely, sometimes people will say, oh, I had a dream that my friend was in a car accident, and now I'm really scared that that's going to happen. It might be a sign to talk to the friend, let them know they had the dream so they'll drive more carefully. It can
Mm-hmm.
be also taking an action in your own. What action can I take to honor this dream? I'm going to pray and surround my friend with protection,
Mm-hmm.
even reenacting dreams through art, through dance, through painting, through ceremony, creatively can um, bring a certain kind of movement or flow to the dream. It
Mm-hmm.
helps it move.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
there's lots of ways to approach that.
Amazing. How can we start to approach if we want to be more intentional with our dream time? If we, what are some ways that we can get started? Both probably, I would imagine it's probably some lifestyle changes. I would imagine, and then also just like before we go to sleep. What are some ways that we can be more intentional in using our consciousness during that time?
Hmm. Yeah, well, I love that you touched on, all in all in lifestyle and what we're eating, what we're ingesting, how we're feeling, how much media we're taking in with our
Mm,
eyes. Because when we're dreaming, we're engaged in rapid eye movement, REM sleep, where our eyes are moving all around. And we're also going into the theta brainwave state. So this is a similar brainwave state as when we're in prayer, actually.
mm-hmm.
And so a lot of it has to do with the biggest thing, and with any kind of work, of course, it's intention and
Mm-hmm.
motivation and desiring to be a dreamer and intending to remember and engage with dreams. A lot of us say, "Oh, I don't dream. I just don't
Yeah.
remember my dreams." We affirm that a lot, and we're told as children oftentimes it was just a dream. That's like, it wasn't just a dream. That was an
Yeah.
experience, right?
Right.
So part of it is being ready and willing to have these experiences. And if we're in a dream drought and we're having trouble remembering our dreams at first, noticing the synchronicities in our waking life each day. Notice when something happens, a sign appears, an animal crosses your path. Because this is
Right.
the language of dreams. So, one way to prepare to really deepen in is in waking life to do those things. And there's a lot I could say about sleep cycles and the circadian rhythms and learning about your body's rhythms so that you sleep deeply. That's important to
Mm-hmm.
dream. Um, and then incubation. So during the period from when we're awake to when we're asleep is called the hypnagogic state. And during that time, we ride this wave into the dream time. And so lucid dreamers, they learn how to surf. They can surf that wave into the dream, staying aware
Yeah.
that they're dreaming. But during that wave, at first, it's really great to just relax. It's nice to lay on your back with your hands on your lower belly and just relax and just notice yourself. Notice the wave. Just
Mm-hmm.
watch your thoughts kind of move and notice that point. That try to find that point right before you fall asleep. And even if at first you don't stay awake, just start to witness and notice that progression. And in that wave, with dream incubation, you can bring in an intention. It can be,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to remember my dream in the morning. It could be, show me about my relationship with so and so. It could be, I'd like to know more about my body healing. Whatever intention would like to come through the dream time, that's sort of where we plant the seed
Yeah.
as we're going to sleep. And we all dream, but in the morning, in the first 5 minutes of waking up, that's when we'll lose like 90% of the dream material is
Yeah.
during that time. And especially if we wake up quickly, looking at a phone or getting up and
Mm-hmm.
moving around or an alarm clock. So that 5 minutes is really precious time to record dreams, and that can be in a dream journal or a voice recorder.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really huge as far as developing a practice is recording them.
Okay.
And even if at first it's only a few sentences or you don't remember, just write anyway, write how you feel. Getting into that practice and showing up for the dreams each morning helps develop those muscles to
Got it.
remember.
Got
So,
it. Um, if you feel comfortable, I'd love for you to share your personal journey into understanding how you can receive more healing through dreaming or being conscious about that dream
yeah.
state. Because I think a lot of us, and all of the women who are joining us in the call, the theme is healing yourself and then giving that medicine to others through service. So, how
Mhm.
did this start for you personally, and what kind of experience have you had where it's really opened your eyes up to the importance of dreaming?
Yeah. Wow. Great question. Um, so I've always been a really active dreamer. And early on in my life, I realized that I was talking a lot in my sleep. I
Mm.
was channeling a lot of different information and speaking in different languages.
Mm-hmm.
And I was being visited by a lot of different beings in my dream time and really feeling for a while like it was happening to me almost like I
Mm.
wasn't really inviting that in, but I was having really strong experiences. I would like shake out of bed, like fall out of bed, or just be saying things, or I'd have dream reports from other people where I'm visiting them and stuff. And
Yeah.
I felt like I was naturally having really vivid dream experiences, but not really feeling like I had much of a choice about it. And so I started to learn more um, about dream interpretation and dream practice. How dreaming is like yoga. It's a practice that we're consistently engaging in to come into union. And so I started to get interested in how to begin to sort of just take the reins of what I was naturally doing.
Yeah.
And I found that through that, I started to have more of these subconscious, very emotionally deep, scary sometimes dreams, which I think is why a lot of us don't want to remember our dreams because we have dreams where we feel fear. So there was a lot of resolving those kinds of things, resolving ancestral beliefs that I had about having the sight. Because I would like have a boyfriend and start speaking in tongues in the middle of the night. And then in the
Right.
morning, he's like looking at me like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, embarrassed or feeling like I'm crazy,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what? I had no language for this. So finding a language and getting into a practice really, what, I'm going to decide, I'm going to write these down every day. I'm going to start incubating where I would like to go and where I would also not like to go.
Yeah.
I reclaimed my dreamer body
Mm.
because I wasn't aware of it. It was sort of hovering over my head, and I was attracting experiences and beings to my field that were attracted to that kind of dreamer who is not fully aware of itself.
Yeah.
So the more I started reclaiming, like, yeah, I'm a dream walker. Yeah, I'm willing to walk these realms and also bring back medicine from these realms for
Yeah.
myself personally and for other people. It's been so amazing. Just the transformation I've had inside and how grounded I feel and embodied.
Yeah.
You'd think doing a lot of dream work, you'd feel kind of floaty or really airy or out of your body. But it's brought me into engaging more with my waking world
Mm.
and with nature and with life here. And so yeah, that's some of my own story, and I've been really passionate about group practice and talking with other facilitating dream groups and the medicine that comes when we all bring our inner experiences and soul experiences together, sort of in the cauldron,
Mm-hmm.
and what we can create from that together for community healing. So that's like where I'm at next. That's where this is all heading, it feels like, for me.
Great. Beautiful. That's what I just wanted to lead into that now. So, how have you brought this service to other people? I know you have like a weekly call that you do, like a dream council. So tell us a little bit about how you're taking this and now being of service. How are you doing that?
Yeah, so we've been holding a weekly dream group call every Sunday at 11:11 now for almost, I think it's been almost 3 years, where every Sunday we get
That's awesome.
together. Yeah, it's been really fun. It's one of my favorite rituals in life. And um, and what I've found is that there's something about the way we get to know one another as a community when instead of talking about our experiences in waking life, like, oh, I work here and I went here yesterday. It's like, oh, I flew last night and then I was in the underworld and I rode a dragon. And you're like, wow, that's real magic. We're all really so magical. And so I've found that being held space for an inner experience that we're having in general is really healing. And so, that's something we do is our conference call. People call in from all over. We're beginning now, as we form sort of a core community. Some of our core community members are starting to form their dream groups at home locally. And I'm really getting juiced about supporting people in person in their local community with the structure to be able to hold their own dream group. And I work with people one-on-one a lot. I do private sessions. So sometimes folks need some dream mentoring or just someone to be interested in what they're experiencing in their dreams and hold space for that. It's kind of doing all of that. And I'd like to begin to teach more. A lot of what we're doing right now is experiential and just jumping into the practice. And I'd like to share more about why it is we're doing what we're doing and get more specific. So that's also kind of what's coming up next. Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, I'm sure then I've started to realize how the power of intention before going into a dream state can impact true healing in my physical and emotional body, and my confidence to even do this work has been really gotten like a big stamp of approval, like in dream time, waking up feeling much more empowered and like seeing potential futures and things like that. So I guess I say that because I would love for you to maybe just encourage anyone listening what enormous healing potential there is with dreams. Like, I can't hit that home enough. I feel like it's something that I still don't understand very well, but I do know the potential for healing in it and how it's something. What's beautiful in a lot of these calls is that there's like, it's a practice that you just have to do it. It doesn't cost money. You don't have, it's not like enrolling in a program or anything like that. It really is about personal intention. So I guess I don't even know if this is a question or more of just like, I want like a ahoy to like being more intentional about our dreams as priestesses. I think that it's a big missed opportunity for a lot of people. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah. And what's great about dreams is they're an infinite resource and we have every night or day to practice. Yeah. So it's not something where you have to like go anywhere. All you do is just open up to what's already happening inside and tune into it. And there's different functions for dreams. So sometimes it is for healing. That can be physical healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing, and mental healing. Like clearing out the hard drive of the subconscious and sort of bringing up the files and looking at them and saying, I don't really need that file anymore. Yeah, download that. Doing some work in that level. It also is an amazing creative muse. If we're working on a project and as priestesses, being creatresses, being sorceresses, really tapping into the source of our inner inspiration. So we can look to dreams as a muse for art, which is a healing form in itself. And it also really shows us our relationships. It shows us our relationships with one another. And it gives us keys. You know, we can visit with the other dreamers. We can have conversations with those who have passed on, connect with our ancestors, connect with loved ones, even our pets. You know, so
Yeah.
there's so much there, and it's a different journey for every hero and heroine.
Yeah.
You know, every dreamer that I've met has a unique quality, unique gifts, and certain themes or realms of their dreams. So it's just a way to get to know thyself.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like in this priestess work, I think I'm always in my whole life, and maybe for many my lifetimes, been asking myself what it means to be a priestess and how to represent that. And I think a lot of it has to do with knowing oneself, going through that healing experience in our inner experience, so then we can hold that coherent container for these experiences to come in for others and to serve that way.
Absolutely. So how can we, the Sunday call, I believe, is a free service that you provide. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's free. It's free for everyone. And the Sunday calls, if you go to our website on dreamcouncil.net, there you can find the call information. And we meet every Sunday from 11:11 to 1:11 p.m.
Wonderful.
And and then I also offer private sessions and one-on-one sessions for dreamers and dream mentorship as well. So for people who might be going through some personal stuff in dreams, don't feel comfortable sharing in a group, we have that available too.
Amazing. I feel like maybe this is my personal experience, at least where we are astrologically right now, it feels like people's dreams are intensifying.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that's true? That's my experience right now. It feels like a lot of people are kind of starting to be like, I'm having some really powerful dream, and I'm being shared with a lot of people in my community who are reaching out to me because they know I work more esoterically and have been like, hey, I need, like, can I talk to you about some of the dreams I've been having? So that seems to be like on a more mass consciousness scale, a lot of people probably are waking up to their dreams.
Have
you found that to be true?
Yeah. There's definite ebbs and flows in the natural cycles of dreaming. So we can look at lots of different cycles, the astrological signs, but also the lunar cycle, and the seasons also. So I've found that as we move into autumn and into winter, that during this time people become more active in their dream time. And we've been in this eclipse corridor, this really long, intense eclipse corridor. And when the veil is sort of thin like that, the dreams we remember our dreams and we're tapped in with this extraordinary reality.
Got it.
So yeah, and when people come to you with a dream, there's great ways to be able to quickly approach that dream too in a really precise but really helpful manner. And it's called the lightning process. Really quick. It's 4 steps. Okay. So someone comes to you and says, I had a weird dream last night. Can I tell you about it? So the first question to ask, have the dreamer tell the dream in the present tense, so that you can kind of walk through the dream with them. And then ask them, how did you feel when you woke up from this dream? And the feelings first. The feelings really identify a lot of the theme of the dream. So how are you feeling? How does this dream reflect your waking life experiences? What's going on in your life where that feeling applies? And then the third one's called If It Were My Dream. So this is where, for the interpreter, you say, well, if this were my dream, I might think this about it, or it might remind me of this part of my life. And that's really important so that we respect the sovereignty of a dreamer. We don't want to go in with dream dictionary philosophy, like, well, you dreamt of a cat, so that means this,
Yeah.
But when we say if it were my dream, it gives us ample room to feel into our own perspective. And then the fourth part, once we've shared a little bit, the fourth part is an action plan. what action can you take in your life to honor the medicine of this dream?
Mm.
And so those four things: feelings, waking life, if it were my dream, and an action plan.
Amazing.
And this is from Robert Moss. It's called the lightning process, because it's like, boom, get to the core of the dream.
Yeah.
And you can go really deep and for hours and hours on a dream. But if someone comes to you and is like, hey, the weirdest things happen, it could be anything, any dream. Just how did you feel? You know, just how does that relate with your life? Okay, well, I think this. If it were mine, I'd think this. What do you want to do about it? Boom.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this part of your journey. I'm fascinated. I'm like, I want to go take a nap. Like, just get into this a little bit more. So thank you so much for your time and sharing yourself today. I will link to everything that we talked about in the notes of this call, so everyone can find out more and join those Sunday calls. I think that that's a brilliant way to get started. So thank you. Thank you so much, Emma. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Katie. It's such a pleasure. And to all the callers and listeners, thank you. And may your dreams come right at the right time and in peace.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.